Speaking of
2004.
GMs, young prodigies, the US has another very young prodigy. We, in fact, talked about it with Hikaru in one of our first episodes last year. Actually, a couple of years ago in September, I think just after Ultimate Moves and the Single Cup. I don't remember
Yeah,
exactly which
one of
one.
our first interviews with Hikaru.
We talked
Probably our
about
most watched video, I think, at this point.
it. Definitely is. Andy Woodward just became a GM today. So kudos to him. Congratulations. Congratulations to actually his supporters. Hikaru being one of them. We have heard in recent times that he is actually supporting his career financially, probably paid for, some of his coaches. I think one of them was Yaroslav Zerebuk. He posted on more or less a retired GM, Ukrainian in origins, did his studies in the United States, and right now he's working, I think, in finance somewhere in Chicago. But I'm digressing. Basically, Hikaru has been mentoring and supporting him financially for a while now, and he's been pulling some very good results. I've seen him in Mexico. I've spent some time, not necessarily spent some time with him, but we exchanged some words. I exchanged some words with his parents, with his dad, as well. And they definitely, all of them as a family, seem very motivated. But also, his dad is not heavily putting a lot of pressure on him. It feels like this is an internal thing that comes from Andy. He really wants to do well. He's really passionate about chess, and I think this is extremely important in general, for the longevity of youngsters. Not to have that reoccurring pressure all the time from your close circle. So definitely, I would say a pretty brilliant future ahead for Andy Woodward and for American chess as a whole. I mean, having another youngest GM right now, I think he is the youngest GM in the world. Obviously, Mishra became historically the youngest GM in the world. We've talked with him, I believe, last year. But basically, US chess, bright future ahead. What's your take on it?
To be honest, I don't know the kid so well. Of course, I've heard the name. I mean, it's clear that, like, you mentioned World Juniors. I think he beat Hans there, right?
He did.
So he's definitely very strong. But I'm not too familiar with him. I never played him, as far as I know. I did notice that probably the first time I saw the name was when was the last? Probably it was 2022, the last Fisher Random World Championship, because I saw the bracket of the online event and there was Hikaru was playing, and his bracket, one of his first opponents was Andy Woodward, and I never, I think, heard the name before. But then I mean, the kid was already putting up a tough fight against Hikaru in Fisher Random, and yeah, I mean, of course, it's hard to say to make predictions about someone's progress when they're still very young, but he's probably one of those kids who will quickly become like 2600. And I guess in general, the sky's the limit, although you never know, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he'll have to work very hard. It's the same with Mishra and a lot of these other young talents, that they have to work very hard and stick with it for a long time. But then of course they have very good chances to become a top level player.
Mm-hmm.
Although the competition is pretty stiff as well. It's
Speaking of competition, in the same tournament, this 12-year-old international master from Turkey, Yagiz Khan Erdogmus, international master 25-24, earns his first, I think it's his first GM norm at only 12 years of age. And he wins the tournament, 6.5, alongside some really, really strong opposition. Murzin, Sadwani, Woodward, Simon Jakub from Poland, who I believe is the reigning under 16 world champion. Bari Pranov, Klimkovsky, and already some players that I don't necessarily know exactly. And Faustino Oro in last position. This is the 9-year-old. It's ridiculous. I cannot believe I'm saying he's 9 years of age and he's playing at the
Wait, is he
2400 level.
59?
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure he is. Maybe 8. I don't know. Faustino. Let's see.
Eight, yeah. Wait, no,
Is he
eight
really
sounds too
8?
young.
No, no, no
No,
way.
no, eight,
Let
no,
me
that
see.
sounds too young. He was born
No.
2013. So no, no, he's turning 11 this year.
Okay, so he's 10. Wow.
Yeah, 'cause- no, I've heard the name for a while. I mean, he's like 2357. Yeah, he's probably 10. I assume. I don't know his birth date, but which obviously is, is still kind of incredible.
Yeah.
2357 at 10. And yeah, or Dogmas also like he's 2524. So yeah, also his like graph, if you look at it, is pretty much straight up. So all these kids, this is like the generation of players that at some point Prague and Abdustarb and Gukesh will have to face, right?
Yeah.
Um, but not for the moment.
Yeah. 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 No.
We'll see someday. But yeah,
That.
they're very good. It'll probably by the time um, by the time they're 18, they could be yeah, easily 2,700 plus players without any surprise there if they get to that point.